My name is Joelle Wright-Terry. I am a mother of two. I'm a widow of a COVID victim, but I'm also a COVID survivor. I am a retired Detroit police officer, and I am a hospice chaplain for a hospice company here in the state of Michigan. On March of the 22nd of 2020, my husband drove me to the hospital because I had 104 fever. I couldn't walk and I was barely coherent. And I was admitted to the hospital. They kept me all day, ran tests, and that was during the time when COVID first hit. After my blood work came back, everything was good except for they said, "We're sure you have COVID-19." And so they sent me home. I could walk. However, I still had 101 fever with a horrific cough. On the 23rd, my husband, he was pale. He was a type 1 diabetic and he was so sick. And so he got up, got his shower, and then he left out, not knowing that that would be the last time that my boys and I would see him. When he made it there, they immediately took him out of the car and admitted him, and he was that weak. And so on by the 25th, they were asking, he FaceTimed me back and said, "Hey, they want to put me on a ventilator. I can barely talk." And so that was the last conversation we had. And he was on a ventilator, I think, for almost 10 days. They called me like 24 hours later and they said they wanted to put a PIC line into him because he had started developing an infection. And once they put the PIC line in, that's when things went on decline. Mind you, I was at home during the same time, being taken care of by my boys, but I was at home basically dying. One morning when I was so sick, but I was getting better, about 9 o'clock, the doctors called and told me that my husband was basically in renal failure and heart failure due to COVID-19. By 1 o'clock that afternoon, the doctor FaceTimed us on his personal cell phone to let us talk to him. And we told him how much we loved him. We told him how much he was a good husband and a good father. And by 8:50 that night, he went to heaven. I am confident that I got through by the grace of God, by God holding my hand, by God assigning his angels. Remember, that was when COVID-19 hit. So no one was coming in, no one was going out. I went through COVID-19 by myself with me and my boys. No one could come in and take care of me. And I also went through getting my husband home from the hospital to the funeral home, planning his funeral, sitting in a recliner, recovering from COVID. Our neighbor next door, he was our saving grace, he and his wife. Like I needed a suit for my husband to get, to the funeral home. We never did a viewing because remember, everyone was so afraid of COVID. And so my family in the South would send us things by FedEx and UPS, water and groceries and things of that sort. But, you know, that's how we made it. My husband was a business owner. So he made gravestones and monuments. And I knew nothing of how to do so. But since his death, I've learned to be an entrepreneur, to carry on his legacy so that it'll be left for our boys. I've learned how to survive. I've learned how to trust God. I've learned how to pray beyond measure. I've learned how to even survive in a solitary situation because a lot of times, yes, we do need people, but when we trust God, He'll show us that we can rely on Him the most. My advice would be to take every day as it comes, treat people with profound love and respect, despite of what their color, creed, or their religion may be. Um, but most of all, to trust God. We cannot get through life without trusting our Almighty God and having a relationship with Him. As a survivor, 1 year later, when I look back over the 365 days that we have surpassed, what my family has gone through, it's nothing but God's amazing grace. I miss my husband dearly. We were together 19 years, married for 18. And when you saw my husband, you saw our two boys. When you saw our two boys, you saw my husband. So, you know, all we could do is to continue to trust in God and carry on his legacy. To other families that have or will go through, because the COVID is still here, I would say to them, love your loved ones every chance that you get.